All right, so this is another portion of our topic 3 lessons that we've talked about in class, which is estimating products. Estimation is one of those words that I don't really like to use a lot because I myself have trouble with estimation. But first, I want to go over two important things. There are two forms of estimation, okay? There is overestimate, and then there's an underestimate, or overestimate, underestimate, however you want to say it. Okay, so an overestimate is when we round up based on our number sentence, and we get a bigger number or a bigger product than our exact product. An underestimate is where we round down and we get a lower product than our exact product. So those are the difference between the two, and we'll go over both of those to make sure that you understand. Okay, so I write sideways, so if my video is a little sideways, I'll try to turn the camera. Here we go. All right, so if I give you a problem like 87 times 403, and I want to know what that product is. Okay, that looks complicated to me. But when I'm estimating, it makes it easier because I don't need to know the exact answer or the exact product. I need to know the estimated product. Okay, so but I have to decide, am I going to do an overestimate or an underestimate? Either one will work. This is also why I have trouble with it and why I don't really like it, because your answers can vary, which can be a good thing but can be a bad thing, because at the end of the day we want you to know the exact product. But we'll get to this in another video. So basically, if I were to do an overestimate, and I'm going to color code this, so overestimate will be in orange, and the underestimate will be in purple. Okay, so we're going to do the overestimate first. So if I have two numbers like 87 and 403, well, I'm looking at 87. That looks like it's close to 100 for me, because if you remember when we go back to rounding, 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4, we always round down, or we stay the same. 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, we round up, or we change. We move up that number. Okay, so I'm looking at 87, and I see that I'm looking at the tens place, and I see that 8 is greater than 5, or greater than 4. So I'm going to go ahead and make this 8, I'm saying it's closer to 100. It's not close to 50, it's closer to 100. So I'm going to say 100. So I'm changing 87 to 100. And then I'm going to multiply 403. I'm just going to leave that one the same. Well, not the same, but I'm going to say it's close to 400. So I'm technically rounding down here. Okay, but I'm still doing an overestimate because I changed 87 to 100, and 100 is greater than 87. So if I multiplied these two estimates, 1 times 4 is 4, right? Well, then all I have to do is count how many zeros are in each number. 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's 4 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that means that the actual product of 87 times 403 is going to be around or about 40,000. This is the overestimate. So my exact product will be less than this. But if I did an underestimate and say that I said 87 was closer to 50. So I changed 87 to 50, and I multiplied, and I say 403 is still close to 400. This is an underestimate because I'm going down. I'm saying that 50 is less than 87, so it's an underestimate. It's lower. This is going to be less than my exact product. But once again, it's easier to multiply because I have two numbers to multiply, 5 times 4. Well, if we know our 5s or can count by 5s, we can say 5, 10, 15, 20. So 5 times 4 is 20. Then all I have to do is count how many zeros are in each number. 1, 2, 3, and place them behind 20. 1, 2, 3. So the lower end, or the underestimate, is 20,000. Both of these answers would work. They would both be correct. You would have to determine What is an overestimate? What is the underestimate? Well, obviously, I've color-coded it for you. So this one, 40,000, is the overestimate, but the underestimate is in purple. It's 20,000. So that means my exact product between these two numbers, or between 87 and 403, is going to be somewhere in between these two numbers. Okay? So I hope that makes sense for you. I'm going to do one more example. So once again, I'm going to use the same color coding as I did before. The overestimate will be orange. The underestimate will be purple. But say I give you the problem 498 times 47. And I want an estimated product. It can be an overestimate or an underestimate. Sorry, I'm having to move my papers up. Okay, so once again, the overestimate will be in orange. So we're going to start there. 498, that is 2 numbers away from being 500. So I'm going to go ahead and make it 500. And if I look at 47, I think that's close to 50. So what I did here was I rounded up both numbers. I rounded 498 up to 500 because if I was looking at this hundreds place, I'm looking back at the 9. 9 tells me to round up, make this a 5. I can drop these two numbers, make it a 0, so it's closer to 500. 47, if I look at this number, I'm looking at the number behind. 7 tells me that 4 needs to round up, so this is going to change to a 5. This will become a 0, so it's rounded to 50. But I can still easily multiply. 5 times 5, let's do that with our hands if we can count by 5s. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So 5 times 5 is 25. And then all I have to do is count my zeros. 1, 2, 3. There's 3 zeros. We're going to place them behind 25. So my overestimate is going to be 25,000. Now, on the opposite end of that, if I did an underestimate, and say I said that 498, is close to, let's do 400. It's a pretty low estimate. Hopefully you would round to 500 because it's easier. It's closer to 500 than it is 400, but just for the sake, we'll do 400. It's lower, so it's an underestimate. And we're going to change 47. We'll say it's 40 because 40 is less than 47. And if I multiplied that, 4 times 4 is not 8. 4 times 4 is 16. So I'm going to write 16, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to count my zeros. 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to place those 3 zeros behind 16. And so my underestimate is 16,000. My overestimate is 25,000. So my exact product of 498 times 47 is somewhere in between 25,000 and 16,000. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. But if you would like to try some of these at home, just for practice, you can try these following problems. Let me do it in green. I'm so sorry. So if you want some extra practice on estimating products, you can try 936 times 410. You can also try 492 times 22. And you can also do 189 times 46. Remember, we're not looking for the exact product. We're looking for an estimated product. That's what the title of this little mini lesson is, Estimate Products. So remember, overestimate is when you round up or you make the number bigger than the exact number. Underestimate is where you go lower and you make it smaller than the exact number. So once again, I'm going to leave this on the screen, so when I stop the video, these will be listed here, and you can also pause the video here and try these if you would like.